Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here. Today's video is about hype, the hype train, why it's good or bad for the current video game space, and my personal thoughts about it, as well as recommendations for you, the consumer. But before that, I want to share with you an awesome CG animation channel with tutorials, short films, and more. Check out the clip. The channel is called the CG Bros, and you can click right here or see my description below in order to subscribe to their channel and view their future videos. These guys have some killer CG animation, so check out their channel, and if you like it, tell them I sent you. Thanks. Hey guys, Macca here. This is kind of like a one-time off special video where I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you guys about hype, and it's a pretty current subject. There's not a lot of games coming out, so I thought I would tell you guys about my personal experience, what some of my opinions are, and recommend some things to make your gaming life better. Now, hype is something we hear a lot. It's a pretty common word nowadays, especially in video games, but it obviously also exists in other entertainment means, such as music and movies. But if we were to actually look up the definition of the word hype as a noun, it is the extravagant or intensive publicity or promotion of an object. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So first off, we should probably ask ourselves, why do consumers get hyped? Now, in my opinion, getting hyped is not far from saying that you're getting excited for the release of something, getting your hopes up for something, and that is just a natural human emotion that we feel. When we play the lottery, we get our high hopes that we're going to win that lottery. We wouldn't play thinking the worst of the situation. So when we see an item, or in our case, a video game, and we see some gameplay or other things, we tend to get excited. We tend to hope for something that's going to entertain us. If, let's say, we really like realistic racing games and we're offered the most realistic racing game of all time, we're going to get excited because that is going to fulfill a need that we had, and it's going to get us excited to play it and experience it. So getting hyped and that emotion of excitement, looking forward to a launch of a new game, is 100% normal. However, I did want to talk about why it's good or bad for both sides, as a consumer and as a developer. If consumers are getting hyped for a game and the developer or publisher realizes this, they may promote the game more, they may realize they get more pre-orders, make more money, and therefore put more money into the development process. However, most of the times when these games are being promoted, it is pretty far down the line and the games are soon to be released, so usually it'll only relate into more success for the developer. Now, that might be a good thing if you actually do end up liking the game, then the hype was worth it to you and it does benefit the developer in the future. However, there's a lot of bad reasons for hype if you're a consumer, and the most obvious is just being let down or getting a product that is far below your expectations. Now, obviously, if you set high hopes for something and those expectations aren't met, you're most likely to end up unhappy or feel as though your money was spent wrongly, and you're not going to end up being a happy camper. Also, gamers tend to think that they were misled into believing that the game was going to be better through different cinematics or non-gameplay trailers, which are especially popular right now to announce games. We get so many trailers without gameplay nowadays, and people for some reason get so excited about these games even though they have no idea what they're actually going to be purchasing. Obviously, a Call of Duty trailer is going to be for a Call of Duty shooting game, but if you don't see any gameplay at all, how are you to know that this is a game you're going to enjoy? You simply have no way of knowing, and if you feel misled, you will probably lose your trust towards that developer or publisher. You'll feel betrayed. It's not a great feeling to have, but it is sometimes brought upon yourself when you get hyped into a product that you probably shouldn't have based on what you've seen. Now, this holds especially true for games that are new franchises because you don't really know what you're expecting. When you're getting a Call of Duty, you know it's going to be similar to the last few that have come out. But when you're getting a new IP, it really is hard to tell whether or not that game is going to be right for you and whether or not that game is going to end up being a good game. And there is that saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, which obviously means that you're the dumbass if you're the one who's going to do the same thing twice in a row. and get misled by someone or tricked by someone. And if you feel as though the first time you were tricked into buying something you didn't really want, you shouldn't be buying it the next time, which is obviously just plain bad business for these companies that are creating these games. Now, obviously, everything I'm saying works basically in the same way, but on the flip side, in terms of developers and publishers or the people who are making these games. Hype is obviously a huge deal for them. When people get excited for their games, they go out and talk about it with their friends, and then their friends talk about it with their friends, and there's this huge word of mouth circle happening and buzz about their game. People start posting about it online. Then these people start going and pre-ordering it, which increases their numbers, and then investors are more likely to take them seriously because there's so many pre-orders. They're likely to do good business and make lots of money, which is obviously what these developers are looking to do. In the grand scheme of things, they are businesses, and that's why it's good for them. They want people talking about their games. They want people excited for their games. They want people to be waiting in lines at midnight. They want people to buy the merchandise, the action figures, the hats, the t-shirts, everything that comes along with this game, because everything that this game is associated with ends up back in their pockets. And I don't blame developers for wanting to make money. That is literally the purpose of them developing the game, and they should be trying to make money. And to be honest, they should also be trying to get people excited for their games. It's just, there's this weird disconnect sometimes where a developer tries to make a trailer in order to make people excited, and then these people get excited for something that really isn't necessarily what the developer wanted them to get excited for. They want them to get excited for a release, but then people start nitpicking at specifics within a trailer and how there's going to be a million customization options maybe because we saw different types of skins in the trailer, and then there's not as much customization as we thought. There's all these different things that people take from trailers that aren't necessarily implied by them, or sometimes they are implied but not necessarily taken the right way by the person watching it. So there's this like slight disconnect, and developers do want their games to get hype, people to get excited. They want people to pre-order it, and that's why it is good. But it is bad because if people expect, like I said earlier, something better than what they're going to be given, they are going to be losing trust. They're going to be unhappy and feel like they were misled. And obviously, as a developer, the last thing you want is for all these people to be excited to play your game and for literally every single one of them to be let down, because you know that it is extremely unlikely for them to, first of all, trust you again, and second of all, trust you enough that they'll actually purchase your next product. And if they don't purchase your next game, you are basically out of business. So there's this very important relationship going on between the people buying the game and the people making the game. They have to both exist together in order for both of the people to prosper. That means that the gamers have to buy the game in order for the businesses to stay in business, but the businesses have to create games so that the gamers enjoy what they're playing and continue to buy their products. And the most important point of this video was my small recommendations at the end, which has made my gaming life a lot better, as well as a few other people who I've spoken to. And that is lower your expectations. This is a good life tip, but it is an especially good gaming tip when you are getting hyped for a game. Now, because I review games, I basically don't get hyped at all. As I also mentioned in my Watch Dogs review, I really enjoyed Watch Dogs. A lot of people didn't, but those people, for the most part, were the people who thought they were going to get literally the most incredible game ever created, even though it wasn't obviously the best game ever created, but it was fun and I enjoyed it. As a reviewer, I don't get hyped. It's not a good idea for me to get excited for games because then I won't be able to offer you guys unbiased reviews. It has made my life a lot better. I have enjoyed games a lot more when I don't know what to expect when I go into them. Obviously, if a shooting game is a shooting game, I know it's a shooting game. And obviously, there are certain games that have certain kind of gimmicks, I guess you could call them, or things that make them unique, which you should know about. And you should know if those things aren't things necessarily like. For example, if a stealth game is a stealth game, but it has guns, and you don't like stealth, you should know that you shouldn't buy it. But what I do recommend is if you lower your expectations, the game is more likely to meet them or even surpass them, and you are more likely to be happy. Now, I'm not saying lower your expectations enough that a company can get away with selling you a piece of shit game. That is definitely not what I'm recommending. I am just recommending that you become a realistic consumer and purchase things that are likely to make you happy, and you should be happier in life. Hopefully this video does make sense. It did drag out a little bit. Comment about your opinions about the hype and the hype train and all that jazz. Hopefully I see you in my next video, guys. Peace.